And if we have some more people join us, the more the merrier. So first things first, we're just gonna do kind of like a recap of expectations, just because again, it has been a long time since we've met, and we do have some new people. So just gonna go ahead and start by looking at Schoology real quick. We want this one. All right. So this is our Schoology page, and one of what you should always be looking at every day is the pacing guide. Okay. And it's going to tell you what you should be doing each day. So, again, today, watch and take notes, Unit 6, review number 2. And then we'll do our class connect, which we're doing right now. And then tomorrow, you would want to take your test. I am going to be at the district office tomorrow from 9 to 12. So, if you wanted to stop in, you are more than welcome to, and I can help you with anything, or if whatever you need, even if it's in a different class. All right, and then where the recording will be right here. This is where all your Class Connect assignments will be. And then as we go through these weeks, again, what I want you to do is to watch the video, take the notes that go along with the video. There's lots of ways to do notes. You can print them out, you can download them. It's up to you. You can just copy them from the video and then try the assignment. So these last 2 weeks, we've been working on something called area and circumference and volume and surface area. So we're going to review all of those things now. Before we do that, though, before we get started, just want you guys to put your thinking caps on. And our word of the month, our character strong word of the month is it's honesty. So if you want to share, you can. If you don't, just think about it. What was one time where you felt like you were being honest and how you felt? And then what was one time when you maybe someone else was dishonest to you or you were dishonest, and kind of how that made you feel. So again, no need to share, just kind of take a little bit of time to think about that. Is that we're going to talk about honesty this month. Okay. I want to do a really fast, quick recap of these things, because you got to know the formulas. And then once we get the formulas, and again, if you don't have these written down, I want you to write these down. Then we'll do maybe an example or two together, and then I want you guys to get some practice. So we'll do a quizzes. All right, so area, finding what's inside of a circle, the equation. And again, if you don't have something to write with, or if you don't have these equations memorized, you need to write these down. Area is something called pi times the radius squared. Now, pi is kind of a unique number, okay? Pi is a ratio of circumference to diameter, and we use it to help us with circles a lot. And it's a number that never ends, so we approximate it to 3.14. So again, when you're using, and I strongly recommend we use our calculators on this unit. When you use pi, use 3.14. Circumference is all the way around the circle, so the outside. So there's a couple ways we can look at that. We can look at it as pi times the diameter, or depending on what you have, you can use 2 times the radius. So you need to remember that diameter and 2 times the radius are the same thing. So they're related to each other, where if I get 2, and I can draw a circle here, if I have a radius which only goes to the center, if I were to add another one, I could go all the way across. And what we call all the way across is our diameter. Again, I know I'm going really fast. These were our lessons from last week. This week, we talked about surface area and volume. Surface area is like if you were like wrapping a present and you had to figure out how much is going to go around on the outside. What goes into this on the outside? And what we're talking about are cylinders. So the surface area of a cylinder, see if Mr. Larson can draw one. Kind of something like that. If you want to think about it like a Pringles can or this without my water bottle, without the straw, this would be a cylinder. So kind of like a water bottle like this. Excuse me. Oh, we got another one. Yay. Welcome, Corbin. We're doing some review right now. Okay, so for our surface area formula, we have 2 pi times the radius squared. And really, if we think about it, pi times the radius squared is the area of a circle because I have a bottom of my circle and I have a top of my circle. So that's why I have to multiply it by 2. And then I have to add up the body of it, which we describe it as basically it's going to be the diameter of our or the circumference of our circle times the height. So it's going to be 2 times the radius times the height and then multiplied by pi as well. And again for pi, we're going to use 3.14. Our last equation that we need is volume. That's the space inside. That's what fills up my water bottle. How much water can it hold? And our volume formula is pi times the radius squared times height. Pi times the radius squared times height. Make sure you've got those written down. I'll leave them up here for a second, but I want to talk about what is, I would say, slightly more difficult is using these formulas. When we plug the numbers in, it's great. When we actually we'll get some practice first, and then we will talk about those last couple examples more towards the end. So again, hi Landon. Make sure we've got these formulas written down because for this next part, you're probably going to need the surface area and volume for sure. So I'm going to leave that. I'm going to get the link pulled up here. And again, if you've already got them written down or memorized, you are good. Let's see here. 7th grade. Let's do we want to do area and circumference or volume and surface area? I think volume and surface area is a little bit more difficult, so I think we should practice that. All right, I'm going to drop the link in the chat and we will get started. There we go. All right, I want everybody to click the link in the chat. I'm going to share my screen, so even if you're watching the recording, you can still participate and follow along and try those problems. So again, we talked about expectations. If you're watching the recording, my expectation is that you would pause, try the problem on your own, hit the play button, go to the next problem. All right. All right, I'm going to scroll through these questions real quick. All right, if you finish, and again, take your time. Using these formulas does take time. Also, please, I strongly recommend you guys use a calculator. So whether you have a handheld calculator or you need to use one like on your iPad, calculators are going to be a big help in this unit. If you did finish already, go back, try it again, change your name a little bit, maybe do like Mr. Larson point two or something. And I want you to try again. So we're going to do this for about 4 more minutes. All right, great job. Keep working hard. Again, if you finished, re-enter, change your name slightly and try again. We're going to keep going for about 2.5 more minutes. All right, again, we're going to start wrapping it up here. About 1 minute left. Finish the question that you're on. So I want to review this a little bit, and then there's a couple problems that I want us to do together. And we got about 10 minutes left. All right, 3, 2, 1. Nice work. All right, let's look at a couple of those questions. Again, make sure you're writing these down, trying these, follow along. I'll give you time to work on them as well. I gotta get it pulled up. All right, let's review question 1 and question 7. So question 1 was a volume problem. It was a cylinder, something like this, where the height was 10 inches and the radius is 3 inches. So first and foremost, what you got to decide is what equation am I going to use? And the equation we're going to use is volume right here. Pi times radius squared times the height. So when I plug this in, okay, volume is pi times radius squared times the height. My radius is 3. and my height is 10. So I'm going to say, all right, pi is 3.14. My radius is 3 squared, and my height is 10. This is where using a calculator is going to be really easy, but there's one step because of PEMDAS, right? Because of PEMDAS, I have to look at exponents. And I do have an exponent here. So I got to think, what does 3 squared equal? Does 3 squared mean 3 times 2? Is that what that an exponent means?
3 times 3.
3 times 3, right. So I'm going to type into my calculator 3.14 times 9 times 10. 3.14, oops. 3.14 times 9 times 10. We got it, 282.6. The other commonly missed question was a soup can has a radius of 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches is our radius and a height of 5 inches. How much metal is needed to make the can? If we're looking for the metal, the outside of the can, looking for a volunteer, what formula am I going to use that's going to tell me how much metal is needed to make the can? What do we think? Area, circumference, surface area, or volume? The can of soup is all around the outside. That's going to be surface area. So we're going to use our surface area formula, which is 2 pi r squared plus 2rh pi. And luckily, because in the problem that I read, it gave us the radius, which we're going to use here and here, and it gave us the height. So we actually know everything we need to solve this equation. 2 pi is 3.14. My radius is 2.5 squared. Let's just move it over. Plus 2 times 2.5 times 5. And then, again, I'm running out of room again. We got to do 3.14 in there as well. So once you can see that once we get the equation set up, it's just going to be a lot of calculator stuff. All right. And then I'm not going to go ahead and solve it, but make sure you get rid of your exponent first, and then you could plug it into your equation. So that's how we would do those. Awesome. I wanted to talk about this problem right here. And I want us to do this one together. So the question is asking us to find the radius. And this is where we are given the volume. Okay, we are given the volume. Volume equals pi radius squared times h. I have to work backwards. I have to deconstruct. I have to undo this equation so that I can get the radius. I'm going to work down. So I know what the volume equals. The volume equals 918.45. And then I've got this equation, pi times radius squared times h. What else do I know in this problem? What other information can you guys find? Do we know anything else? The height. Thanks, Grayson. Yes. So I'm going to erase this h. I'm going to get rid of this h, and I'm going to plug in the height, which is 11.7. So to simplify, I'm going to multiply these two together. So let's figure out what's 3.14 times 11.7. 3.14 times 11.7, 36.738. So let's plug that in. Oh. 918.45 equals, oh, I forgot. I got to double check. 36.738. And I still have r squared. Who remembers what do we do to undo multiplication? Because right here, this says 36.738 times r squared. How do I undo? I got to divide. You got it. So I'm going to divide, and we got to make a left side of our equation and a right side of our equation. We got to divide 36.738 on both sides so that over here, it cancels out. All we're left with is r squared. 918.45. Let's see here. 918.45 divided by, copy, it worked. We'll just plug it in. 36.738. And it actually equals a nice number of 25. So now I got to think, and we did this before. How do I undo a square root? I got to think about how do I undo a square root? I have to, or excuse me, a squared. I told you the answer. I got to take a square root. So the answer to this is 5. If you get a number that you don't know, say you get a funky number, let's say 20. If you get 20 in there, we don't know what the square root of 20 is. Just use your calculator. Square root of 20, 4.47. Okay. The directions will tell you how to round. Okay. Looking at our Class Connect assignment. Okay. How do we show that we were following along? How do we show that we're going to earn our points today? Okay. On Schoology, and I'll start from the beginning. Okay. And we'll do the questions together today. From Schoology, go to this folder, Q3 Class Connect assignments. It's the only one in here right now. Let's take a look. What is the diameter of the circle if the area is 25 pi inches squared? Okay, so just like we talked about, we got to deconstruct this formula, okay? I know that I have, oops, area equals pi r squared, and the problem said it equaled 25 pi. All right. I like it, Landon. I like it. Let's see how we got there. So I'm just gonna let's flip this over and do pi times 25. So when I look at this, I can say, all right, my pi's are the same. They're gonna cancel out. All I have to now figure out is r squared equals 25. I can do that by taking the square root, and right now I got 5. But Landon said the question didn't ask for the radius, Mr. Larson. The question asked for the diameter, and he knows that the radius is just, or the diameter is 2 times the radius, so our diameter is 10. Awesome job with that one. The next one, the key here, okay? The key here is right now we've got apples and oranges. We've got inches and we have feet. That's a problem, okay? A tire has a diameter of 15 inches. And how many rotations will it take to cover 150 feet? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn feet into inches. So I'm going to take this 150 and I'm going to multiply it. There's 12 inches in 1 feet and 1 foot. So I am going to do 150 times 12 to figure out how many inches that is. Now I've got apples and oranges, as Mr. Larson likes to say. I got my two numbers that I need. The problem said the diameter was 15. If we want to know how many rotations it goes, that sounds like circumference. It's going to rotate around. So I'm going to say, all right, this is circumference is pi times diameter. So I know that my diameter is 15. So 15.314. 15 times 3.14 is 47.1. And now I got to divide 1800 by 47.1 inches. It takes 47.1 inches for the tire to rotate. 1800 divided by 47.1, and we get about 38.2. So we had to round, but I believe that's an answer choice. So we got 38.2 for that one. You may have quiz questions just like that. So as you look forward to taking your quiz or test, a lot of these problems that we just did together are going to be similar, very similar to your test. All right, that's all I've got for you. We will also have a Class Connect next week. So same time, same place next week. Have a great rest of your day. Good luck on your test. Let me know if you have any questions.
You too. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.